Chairman Mao, President Schindler, ladies and gentlemen, it is your delight to join you at the Energy Intelligence Forum. Themed on the big energy reset, COVID, climate consequences, today's forum could not be more timely. Let me take this opportunity to share with you my views on the theme of the forum. I will focus on three questions. How do we assess the current situation in energy transition and climate change? What will China do? How can we strengthen cooperation to address climate change and promote energy transition? COVID-19 has been the most challenging pandemic in a century. It has dealt a severe blow to many trades and industries. Against this background, what is the situation like in climate change and energy transition? In my opinion, there are three major trends. First, the connection between climate change and energy transition is increasingly close. Today, we are faced with many climate change challenges, from frequent extreme weather events to rising sea level, from deterioration of eco-environment to the inadequate response from developing countries, to the withdrawal of an individual country from Paris Agreement. All these challenges can be traced back to the energy industry. Second, the COVID-19 is accelerating energy transition. COVID-19 has pressed the pause button on world economy and energy demand, prompting countries of the world to reflect on direction and routes of energy transition. The most urgent task of the day is enhancing global cooperation on fighting COVID-19, restoring economic and social order, and injecting fresh vitality. Pursuing green economic recovery has become the consensus of international community in the post-pandemic world. The structure of energy industry will become more diversified, and this will put further pressure on energy companies to seek development through transition. Third, the COVID-19 highlights the need to harmonious coexistence of man and nature. The pandemic sounded the alarm. Mankind must stop ignoring the repeated warnings from nature. Stop taking without giving back. Stop development at the expense of conservation. And stop utilization without rehabilitation. Man and nature share common future. We must explore opportunities for development in conservation. Only by following the trend of green and low carbon development can we find the driving force to restart the energy industry. Last month, at the UN Summit on Biodiversity, President Xi Jinping announced that China will scale up its nationally determined contribution, adopt even more forceful policies and measures, and strive to peak carbon dioxide emissions before 2030 and achieve carbon neutrality before 2060. This is a major policy announcement on climate change. First, China will make greater contribution to advancing global governance on climate change. With a population of 1.4 billion, China is the world's largest developing country. It is faced with outstanding issues of imbalance and inadequacy in its development. However, as a responsible global player, China has implemented the Paris Agreement and achieved remarkable outcomes in energy conservation and emissions reduction. China has also been playing an active part in global governance on climate change. Starting from 2012, China spent $72 million on South-South cooperation on climate change every year. China has also worked on putting international efforts for cooperation on climate change via platforms such as BRI International Green Development Coalition. Second, China will make greater contribution to promoting green development in the world. China advocates a new development concept, namely innovative, coordinated, green, open, and shared development. We are playing an active and leading role in green economic recovery in the post-pandemic world. China's 14th five-year plan will map out routes towards building a green, circular, and low-carbon economy. This includes a coordinated approach to epidemic response and economic and social development, a new path of high-quality development, which gives priority to ecological conservation and is led by green technologies, an improved system of investment and financing for tackling climate change, and promotion of green production and green way of life. In pursuing post-pandemic economic recovery, China will foster and strengthen energy conservation, environmental protection, and clean production industries. Increase industrial and domestic use of electric, digital, and smart technologies. Promote transformation in multiple areas, such as energy and transportation, and continue to be a global leader in green and sustainable development. Third, China will make greater contribution to promoting global energy transition. China has been committed to improving the quality and efficiency of energy supply, accelerating innovation in energy technology, and advancing market-based reform in the area of energy. In the past decade, China has become the world's largest investor in renewable energy. China has also taken an active part in international energy cooperation. China is opening its energy sector wider to the world and keeps expanding cooperation with other countries in oil, gas, and nuclear energy. China is implementing the global energy internet, taking an active part in the development of energy routes along the Belt and Road, and participating in global cooperation on energy technology. China has set up 58 bilateral mechanisms and take part in 33 multilateral mechanisms for cooperation. In a word, China has played its part and continued its solution and contributed its solution to global development and cooperation in energy transition. Ladies and gentlemen, the history of mankind is a history of difficulties overcome and challenges tackled. Going forward, China will continue to address climate change and promote energy transition. This will not only contribute to sustainable growth in the world, it will also create more opportunities for cooperation between China and other countries, including the UK. First, the opportunities for global governance on climate change and environment. Next year will be an important one for global governance on climate change. In his speech at the UN Summit on biodiversity last month, President Xi Jinping said that at the COP 15 to be held in Kunming next year. China and the other participating parties will discuss and draw up plans together for protecting global biodiversity and turn the Earth into a beautiful homeland for all the creatures to live in harmony. Next year, the UK will host COP26 in Glasgow. These two conferences will create opportunities for the energy and industrial communities of the world to enhance cooperation and foster greater synergy in areas such as clean energy and green finance. By matching their complementary strengths, and participating parties will be able to deliver concrete outcomes. Second, opportunities of greater openness and cooperation in energy sector. China is committed to building an open world economy. It remains the world's most important and vigorous market for energy consumption and import. China will continue to open to investment from all over the world. In November, China will host the third International Import Expo, where we hope to see energy businesses from all countries, including the UK. Third, opportunities in energy transition and innovation. As a new round of scientific and technological revolution and industrial transformation unfolds, China is making vigorous efforts to promote innovation in green technology, energy, and financial services. Scientific innovation drives high-quality development of energy industry, and the new energy technologies will lead to the upgrading of the entire sector. The development of new technologies and new business models in China, such as a smart grid, electric vehicles, large capacity power storage, and smart energy, will create enormous opportunities for energy businesses from all countries. Fourth, the opportunities of building a green Belt and Road. Belt and Road Initiative has become the world's largest platform for international cooperation. Green is a salient background of the BRI development roadmap. China and the UK have jointly issued the Green Investment Principles for the Belt and Road. Via the BRI platform, energy companies could expand bi-party, tri-party, and multi-party cooperation in areas of environmental protection, energy conservation, emissions reduction, infrastructure development, green finance, and fintech. Through such cooperation, energy transition will be better integrated into global efforts of ecological conservation, environment protection, and sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, a Western saying goes, every cloud has a silver lining. There's a similar Chinese saying which goes, rainbow appears after the storm. In the darkest hour of the region pandemic, mankind has displayed strength through solidarity, courage, determination, and love. China stands ready to work with the international community to shore up confidence and to tide over the hard times. Together, we can address climate change and advance energy transition to make our planet a better home for all. In conclusion, I wish the Energy Intelligence Forum great success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Liu, for sharing with us Chinese views and carbon emissions with us. Let's see if we can delve deeper into the details of this very important plan for carbon neutrality. First, what does 2060 carbon neutrality mean for energy demand in China? Where would this leave fossil fuels, oil, gas, coal, and renewables in Chinese energy mix?
I think achieving carbon neutrality by 2060 is a very forceful and positive target. The energy and economic transition and reduction of CO2 and greenhouse gas emissions in China are happening much faster and with a greater intensity than the developed countries. Take fossil fuels, for example. China's coal consumption accounted for 57.7% of its total energy consumption in 2019, dropping to a record low. Natural gas has now taken a larger share of about 7.8% in the energy mix. However, China is still at the stage of rapid economic development. As I said in my presentation, that China is still a developing country, and many industries and regions continue to rely on fossil fuels. The 2060 carbon neutrality target is sending a very clear signal, undoubtedly pushing for transition and upgrading in sectors like energy, transportation, manufacturing, construction, and agriculture. China will further develop and improve the carbon emission trading market to allow market-based incentives to do the job of promoting CO2 emission reduction and corporate technology innovation and channeling investment towards low carbon and the green industries. On renewables, the proportion of non-fossil energy in China's total energy consumption increased to 15.3% in 2019. By the end of 2019, the number of new energy vehicles in China reached 3.81 million, accounting for roughly 1/2 of the global total. Focusing on 2016 carbon neutrality target, China will continue to expand clean and low carbon contents in its energy structure, increase the proportion of renewables in total energy consumption, and vigorously promote the application of new energy resources, including wind, solar, and nuclear energy.
Thank you. We have seen Chinese oil demand rebounded quite strongly since the coronavirus outbreak in the first quarter. How would you explain China's remarkable recovery in its economy and energy demand?
I think, we are now trying to coordinate epidemic prevention, control efforts, and taking measures to restart economy in orderly manner, and continue to deepening reform and opening up. China's economy has shown remarkable resilience and huge potentials. Momentum of China's economy, China's economic recovery is still very strong. The GDP increased by 3.2% in the second quarter of 2020, making China becoming the world's first major economy to resume growth. China's energy industry has also made important contribution to the victory over COVID-19 by ensuring supplies throughout. In the first half of the year, China's total energy consumption fell by 0.2% compared with the same period last year. Demand for coal, oil, and natural gas rebounded. The construction of energy infrastructure, including electricity facilities and oil and gas pipelines, resumed. the proportion of electricity generated by clean energy has increased, accounting for 27.6% of the total in the first half of the year. China supports the concept of green recovery. Tackling climate change is a long-term and continuous endeavor that can only be made in the process of green recovery. In his recent speech at UN Summit on biodiversity, President Xi Jinping said this: globally, the coronavirus has wreaked havoc on every aspect of economic and social development. We need to have our eyes on the long run, have determination, and stay the course for green, inclusive, and sustainable development. Realizing that our solutions are in nature, we could strive to find development opportunities while preserving nature and achieve win-win in both ecological conservation and high-quality economic development. Now the pandemic control has become the new normal. China will take into account both short-term tasks and long-term goals and coordinate economic and social development with addressing climate change.
Thank you, Ambassador. Could you share with us why has China decided to step up its climate change goals?
You know, China attaches great importance to advancing ecological civilization. We take our responsibilities under environment-related treaties seriously, including those on climate change and biodiversity. China has made great achievements in the field of energy saving and emission reduction. The goal of carbon neutrality is a major policy announcement on the climate change, on the environment. It's based on the inherited requirements of domestic sustainable development in China and responsibility of building a community with a shared future for mankind. You're talking about the gas, the use of gas. You know, it's
Yes.
part of our strategy. So the president made an announcement. It shows, I would share with you, demonstrates China's three firm determinations. The first determination is to tackle climate change and take the path of green and low carbon development firmly. The goal of carbon neutrality points to a clear path for China's mid to long-term climate action. China will take green and low carbon and sustainable development as the guidance for current economic recovery and future high-quality development. Second determination is to support multilateralism firmly. Currently, the global multilateral climate process still faces challenges from unilateralism. COVID-19 has posed new challenges to countries of the world in their response to climate change. By stepping up its goals on emission reduction, China is injecting positive energy into multilateralism and boosting international confidence in tackling climate change. The third determination is to support the implementation of the Paris Agreement and promote global climate governance firmly. The submission of the updated NDCs in 2020 is an important juncture for implementation of Paris Agreement. China's announcement is in line with the global trend of strengthening climate action. It reflects China's firm support for implementing the Paris Agreement, promoting global climate governance, and working with all parties to build a clean and a beautiful world.
Thank you. I just have one last question on the BRI. You mentioned in your speech that the BRI would also include green investments. So we should expect more green investments along in the countries in the BRI. What about co-investments? Are we going to see less co-investment in BRI? And what kind of green partnerships will you be looking out for outside of China?
The Belt and Road Initiative is not only a road to economic prosperity, but also a road to green development. As President Xi Jinping pointed out in his speech at the UN, he said a sound ecosystem is essential for prosperity of civilization. We need to take up our lofty responsibility for entire human civilization, and we need to respect nature, follow its laws, and protect it. We need to find a way for man and nature to live in harmony, balance, and coordinate economic development and ecological protection. China has always adhered to green concept in BRI development, focusing on its integration with the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, promoting green and low carbon infrastructure and operation management, emphasizing ecological conservation in investment and trade, and strengthening cooperation in the fields of ecological environment governance and biodiversity protection and climate change. In line with the carbon neutrality and other emission reduction targets, we could promote a greener BRI cooperation in 3 aspects. The first is to establish a green mechanism. In 2019, China jointly initiated BRI International Green Development Coalition with more than 140 partners in 42 countries. China will promote the development of conservation industries, such as modern recycle agriculture, the industries based on bioenergy, energy conservation, environmental protection, information technology, and the new energy industries, with a view to setting up a BRI green project pool. The Chinese government has also established Belt and Road Environmental Technology and Transfer Center to promote the joint R&D and application of advanced eco-friendly technologies. Second is to strengthen ecological conservation. In designing and constructing BRI projects, Chinese enterprises fully consider biodiversity and conservation needs, as well as economic development. For example, when the Chinese companies built Karachi-Lahore Highway in Pakistan, they planted nearly 300,000 trees and more than 5 million square meters of grassland along the road. Along with the new road infrastructure, they also contributed to the local environment. The third is to enhance cooperation in green finance. More than 30 large financial institutions around the world have signed the Green Investment Principles for the Belt and Road, which include a full understanding of environmental, social, and governance risks, full disclosure of environmental information, making full use of green financial tools, and adopting green supply chain management. We have actively carried out third-party market cooperation with developed countries, including the UK, on building a green Belt and Road. will pool more efforts in international cooperation on climate change via platforms such as the Belt and Road International Alliance for Green Development.
Right.
Thank you.
Ambassador Liu, thank you very much for your comments. Unfortunately, this is all the time we have for today's sessions, but I'm sure the audience would agree that they have a better idea where China's energy future lies, and they are already getting ideas to ride the waves of China's green revolution. I must also thank the audience for staying with us for this and watching this very informative session. We will now be taking a 10 minutes break, and we'll be back shortly for the next leadership dialogue. Stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you.